Hi, I'm Amanda Tran, and this is Self. Joining me today is Kate Godfrey. Hey, Kate, welcome to Self.
Hi, Amanda. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
So we are here today just to talk about you, to explore self with you, and you are a sound healer.
Yes, I am.
What's a sound healer? Tell us more about that.
Well, it's helping people to relax using sound, vibration, frequency. Helping people to let go of things and to drop into their rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system in a really nice, held, comfortable space.
Yeah, because it sounds very Ubudian.
Yes. So I'm trying to get away from that label and the woo-woo and be a bit more grounded and down to earth about things. So, yeah. I like the spiritual, but I want to make it really digestible.
Accessible and digestible.
Exactly.
To regular folk.
Yes, because regular folk are the ones that need it the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for people who don't know what a sound healing session might look like, what do you do?
Well, I get everyone in, lying down. I've been doing mostly group sessions. So in a yoga studio, everyone comes in, gets really comfy. I encourage them all to make a little nest and nestle in, blankets, eye mask, everything. And I guide them through a relaxation, coming into their bodies, do a body scan, do a little bit of breathing to slow down. And then I start playing instruments that really start to calm people down. Yeah.
I've had the pleasure of joining one of your sound healing sessions and I loved it. It was very, very relaxing. Why is it so effective in getting people to drop in to their parasympathetic nervous system and activating rest mode?
Because it's a form of meditation, but it's also a really tangible one because you've got sound, the sound waves, so people can follow what's going on with the tones and the sounds. And also there's frequencies that are being played by the instruments and vibrations, so you can feel the music going through you. And also it alters your brain waves, which is really cool. So I feel like sound healing is this mix of science coming into spirituality. So if you listen to their sound healing instruments, after about 15-20 minutes, your brain waves start to sync up with the slow sound waves put out by, say, like crystal bowls or the gong. And it takes you down from an active brainwave state and down to from beta down to alpha and even theta, which is the doorway to the subconscious. So then you're able to be in that healing state. Things can come up from your subconscious that you might need to look at, but you don't give yourself the chance normally in day-to-day life. And it's in a really nurturing, safe, quiet space.
And in what ways do you think, how has it, have you experienced some healing for yourself through it?
Well, how I got hooked on it actually was in Bali.
Obs.
Yeah. So, yes, when I used to live here and I was up in Ahmed doing all the freediving, I'd take myself away to Ubud and go and receive all the sound healings. And it was a particular one that was just crystal bowls. And it's always the challenge to get out of your head in meditations and these kind of things. So I was lying there receiving this crystal bowl meditation, sound healing, and I was sitting there thinking, what's happening? Am I really relaxing? I'm thinking about 10 million things. Am I doing it right? Am I properly relaxed? An hour goes by and then I get up to leave and I feel like I'm just buzzing. I feel like I'm like electrified. My energy's changed completely.
Yeah.
So even though my mind was busy trying to analyze it, it's moved, the vibrations, the frequencies have moved through my body regardless of if I've tried to meditate or achieve anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like it's a really tangible way to get your body into that relaxation state. And then that's the starting point for self-healing. So even if you're just putting people in that really relaxed mode, then their bodies have the option to start repairing cells, regenerating themselves.
And how did you get into all of this? So obviously you just shared about that.
Yeah, the first time.
Your first sound healing experience for yourself. But what led you to become a sound healer?
Yeah, so when I was busy going to all the sound healings, I never thought, oh, I can do this. I was always like, yeah, it's amazing. But yes, I guess like a lot of people, the pandemic offered a big opportunity.
What pandemic? What happened?
Like 3 years it's just happened. So that offered a nice big open space to explore different things. And I was in Australia and I got let go from jobs in tourism, and I was like, oh, what have I always wanted? A crystal bowl. So I just ordered myself just one bowl. As soon as I got it and was playing it, I was like, I need 3. I need to harmonize with this bowl. Got 3. As soon as they came, I need 7. I need the full chakra set. I need to have the full experience. And then when I had them, I was like, well, I need to share this with people because I love it. Other people are going to love it too. So, yeah, I got the courage to step into a Pilates studio and offered weekly sound healing sessions with the real kind of aim just to target the everyday person that's never done meditation, that needs the relaxation but, doesn't have any experience. Started doing weekly sessions, and then I've been doing them for the last year and a half in Port Douglas in Queensland.
Australia.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like we need to keep going because we were like, what's Port Douglas? What's Queensland? Oh, Australia, that far away place.
Yeah. And I've loved it. I've just fallen in love with it more and more every time, and collected many instruments. New obsession, instrument collection. At least, I've swapped out the bikini collection for the instrument collection.
Because before that, I mean, you have lived quite the adventurous life. Right?
A little bit.
Working on super yachts and whatnot.
Yeah, always water-related activities since I left uni and did marine biology at uni, so all ocean, scuba instructor, super yachts for years, so travelled around the world doing that, which was amazing, very eye-opening.
Yeah, in what way?
Well, purely to travel in the first place because I'd never left Australia. I was 25 and just worked as a scuba instructor at home first. Yeah. And then stepped on a super yacht and we were off around the Caribbean to the Med, having all these adventurous places and being able to work and be paid and be looked after while doing it is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So I kind of got sucked into that world for a good 6-7 years and did a lot of travel. And then found freediving in the midst of that.
Another freediver. You are the... Well, it makes sense because I'm a diver and these are my friends. So you are the third freediver that I've had on.
Well, it's a pretty cool thing to do.
Yeah. Where did you find freediving?
In Honduras, actually. So I was on one of the boats, had my month holiday and concocted this amazing holiday where I jumped around between Honduras and Mexico and did all of the diving. And in Honduras, I had the option whether I was going to do a freediver course or do a rebreather course.
For scuba,
yeah. So it's a more technical style of scuba, where you can get close to animals because you have no bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could get rid of all the equipment and hold my breath and get close to animals. So I chose that one, and I'm so glad I did. Like, it was a full game changer. I was like, why have I scubaed for this many years?
No disrespect to the scuba community, because like I mean, we both scuba.
Yeah.
I still scuba from time to time and love it for different reasons. Yeah.
Yes. But you get all the same feelings without all of the stuff on your back. So I was instantly hooked with freediving, and then started that journey, doing all my tickets there and becoming an instructor with that as well.
And that's led you to some exciting places.
Yeah. And also I feel like freediving was the next step towards kind of holding space for people, letting them relax, creating that kind of container, because I feel like you do that with freediving. And also the looking inwards with freediving. Scuba, I feel like you're just kind of watching a movie, whereas freediving, you're looking at your internal landscape.
Yeah.
What's going on in my head? What am I feeling? What am I thinking? Like instant meditation. So I feel like that was the first step towards looking at your body and, really paying attention to how you relax and how others relax, and using those skills now with the sound healing.
What did you learn about yourself? I mean, not what did, I suppose. What have you been learning about yourself from that experience in freediving for the first time?
Just what comes up first is how hard you are on yourself and putting pressure to achieve and to strive for things. Because you have to really be so gentle with yourself, and that your self-talk has to be really nourishing and lovely, and all of the good things, positive, to be able to get you to freedive deeper. So you have to be really, loving, and then relaxing physically to be able to achieve what you want to do as well. So, can't just force your way down there, but that's kind of represents life, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then how do you think that's affected or shown up in relationships around you? Because you are a very like gentle and warm, loving person.
Oh, thank you.
So I guess while we understand everyone has some form of negative self-talk and stuff, I mean, for as long as I've known you, which I recognize isn't a ton of time, but you are this very lovely individual. And so recognizing this in yourself, in the way that you spoke to yourself, how was that showing up in relationships?
I think I've more noticed with the freediving and how that kind of like relates to relationships. Let's see. Like I feel like you can't pour it all into someone else and be a functioning human. You've got to be able to fill your own cup up first. That's something I've learned as I've gone along, and to kind of be able to be at a place where I'm holding space for other people, and to be sharing relaxation and the meditations. I wouldn't be able to do that if I wasn't if I didn't have enough for myself, energy-wise. So
nourishing yourself first.
Yeah, so in past relationships, I've often given a lot and poured a lot into other people, whereas I probably should have had a bit more boundaries there, or that kind of thing, I guess. Yeah. Because now if I want to hold space for everyone else, I need to be strong enough in that, and to have my own cup filled up. Yeah, so that's a big lesson I've learned.
Filling your own cup first.
Because you can't help other people from this empty place. And that has been my default mode until now, just like, giving until, making the other person happy.
Yeah.
At your own detriment most of the time.
Yeah, 100%. I think maybe many of us have had that relationship, maybe one or two that comes to mind where you've done that, right? Where you pour everything. And I guess because you are this very giving and nurturing person naturally, has that just been a pattern for you through
absolutely
past relationships?
Yeah, absolutely. Just putting other people's needs and things above your own, and the default mode is for making sure that they're okay and filling their cup up first, really. So you learn eventually to get to a point where you need balance, and you need someone that's going to meet you halfway where you're at, so you're equally supporting each other, not uneven. What
was the impact for you in recognizing, or in it, while you were in it, were you able to recognize that it was happening?
But it's hard when you're in it as well.
Yeah,
they're all tied in with the emotions and all the love you feel for someone. And I think it takes a lot to get to the point where you're like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't in my best interest, and maybe it's time to step away and look after myself. Otherwise, your whole life and everything you do is kind of all poured into a relationship instead of in your own life and what you want to do and your direction and your career and everything. It's all learning.
It is all learning, 100%. When do you think you knew? Because I often think that there's a point of when we know that something perhaps isn't right for us, and then there's a point of action. And maybe for some, they're really good at keeping that time
close
distance
together.
Very close, right? I know when I'm going to act. I know for me personally that was a long time. In a particular relationship I can think of. What was it like for you?
There was definitely a gap there. Absolutely. I think hopefully, going into a new relationship, you would be like, okay, now I know, now bang, bang. But definitely was. But you want to believe the best in the other person, don't you? You want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And there was, I feel like I did that multiple times. So, there's definitely times where I'm like, I know this is a bit of a red flag here, but no, it'll be right. Just change the scenario. Just, move somewhere else, start again, do things differently, and it'll be fine.
Why do you think we ignore red flags? Speak for the whole world. Speak for the whole population of every single person who's ever ignored red flags. That's a huge question. Why do you think you ignored red flags?
Because you invest so much in relationships, you've put so much into it that you want it to work, I guess, and you're so entwined with them, and I guess you remember back on the good times and you're like, if this can happen, then we can get it back like it was before, and it'll all be perfect again. I guess because you've invested so much.
And what did you learn about yourself in that?
That I was an empty shell of a person afterwards.
Really, that you just cannot pour from an empty cup, hey?
Exactly. I took a good year after the last one to replenish and even just get the new perspective on, what do I want to do? How do I think about things? Just to have my own little solo space again.
There's I think there's this balance in being accountable though, right? Because you can be in a space in a relationship with someone who takes a lot from you, which is what it sounds like this was a bit of. And then there's also the other side of us allowing someone to also take from us.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and that's the whole boundaries thing, isn't it? Like, you
Yeah.
can just blame the other person, but really you're participating in the dynamic.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah, so you learn about that too, I guess, and having boundaries, and it's that, it's the whole dynamic feeding into each other. I guess that's why the attraction is in the beginning too. It's that, it goes well together.
What was the attraction? What was the balance there?
Like the victim and the rescuer. I don't know, something like that. Like, you want to help them and rescue them, and they're always, woe is me, something's happening. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that kind of dynamic. Yeah, because that's definitely been my default mode, is rescue. Yeah,
wanting to fix.
But I mean, that's why I guess sound healing feels so good, because I'm like, I can use this to help people. And we'll not fix people, but provide a space that helps. And
it comes from a good place. It's not you wanting to, fix someone in like shaping them in, because you're saying I don't like you. But I guess it's when you get perspective on someone, you can see many sides to them, and that natural default, it comes from a good place of wanting to help.
Yeah.
But then the flip side to that is also, I guess, that we're not able to accept people as they are.
Yeah.
Hoping for something better.
Yeah, that happens a lot, doesn't it? People get together and they're like, oh, I see your potential.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Dating someone for potential. Yeah, I was listening to something recently on this, because that's an interesting thing. Seeing someone and recognizing potential in them, I think, is a great thing. When you see someone and you're like, you have these incredible gifts that you can offer to the world, and you're able to do so much with that, and you can see potential in someone, and that's a wonderful thing. But then where is the line when it comes to dating them and placing an expectation on them to become the potential?
Yeah.
And is it, I think, hearing you say this, I'm thinking in my last relationship, where I was definitely almost waiting for him to step into this potential. It was like seeing the potential, and then for me recognizing actually it was my own expectation that he would. Like, he was showing up as he was, and I chose not to see that and not to accept it.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just project your own hopes, and you're like, oh yeah, you're right. If I just if this one thing just changes, then everything will be better.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe there are couples that grow together and change together, and that's an amazing dynamic if you're both doing some work on yourself independently.
Yeah.
Without expectation that the other one's doing it too.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's all we have control over is ourselves. Do you think for you in that relationship, were you able to grow within yourself as an individual? Were you doing that?
I think only afterwards, to have the little bit more objective perspective looking back on it. I think I've grown a lot afterwards. In it was a little bit, you two in the emotions of things to be able to,
to like separate yourself.
Yeah. And I was just in fix-it support mode. Yeah. So I guess I just learnt after what I actually need in a relationship, which is amazing. So I'm super happy for seeing that. Yeah. Because all of the last relationships all have that thread running through them. So it's obviously a nice lesson for me to eventually learn.
To interrupt and break that pattern.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of being the rescuer.
Yeah. Because I can't now. I have to hold space for other people in the job I want to do.
Yeah.
So I can't be pouring it all into someone else. Yeah.
And what has that looked like in that time from walking away from that relationship, recognizing actually, hey, I've got this pattern of being a rescuer, and then I need to facilitate and hold space for people. That's a lot to recognize. But what did that work look like for you?
I guess just doing things to nourish and nurture myself, and going slowly and not putting too much pressure, and having a nice big solo break as well. So, yeah. And then also just, I guess you have a bit more of a lens how you see future potential people with. You're like, do I want someone like that again? Not sure. But at least it's coming up now as, you know, questioning a bit more rather than going for the default, you know, type of person that you've always gone for.
Yeah.
I guess it's just recognizing that. And also the type of person you get attracted to. Like, now I'm hoping this is changing. So then you're going to end up with someone more in balance with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Were you attracted to more, I don't want to say
the style of, like, yeah, no, I have a type for sure.
Okay.
All of my last relationships. Oh, not all of them.
Most.
Usually, okay, normally what I've been attracted to in the past is the funniest person, the loudest person, like the center of attention, the one that's having the most fun. Just, I guess it's just fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Charismatic. They can like hold an entire room with their stories. You know, that's great, because I consider myself a little bit more reserved and shy. I think as I'm getting older, I'm not so much, but when I was young, so I'm attracted to that opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there is too much as well. So now I'm just scaling that back.
Learning.
They still have to be funny though.
Yeah. That's, yeah, absolutely. The way to your heart.
Yeah.
True sense of humour.
Yeah.
But was there a pattern in someone needing to be rescued? Or do you think that you just picked that out of people?
I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, well, I guess if someone's like looking like they need help, then I guess it's like that. I can do things that are going to make them feel better. I can do things to help them. I guess that does draw that out of you. Not sure.
Yeah. And you said, because for you, you ended up feeling like this empty shell of a person.
Yes.
Yeah. How long do you think it took you to realize that? From, you know, looking back, because hindsight's 2020. So we can look back and go, actually, there was kind of this point here where you ended up as this. I'm quoting you. I'm not saying that that's what you were meant. I'm quoting you. You were this empty shell of a person.
How long was I empty?
How long were you depleted for? Yeah.
You mean in it or after?
Oh, I mean, I'm so sorry. I guess, yeah. What? Yeah, while you were in it, how long after? Because this is the thing, right? I think for many of us, and I've definitely been guilty of this, where you give and you give and you give, and you don't recognize how empty your tank is until it's way too late.
Yeah, until like burnout.
Yeah, like and potentially even beyond. And that's applicable outside of relationships even. That's you know, that can be the case at work, in friendships, in whatever, in any space. That's definitely possible. Yeah. How long did you hold out for?
Yeah, way longer than I should have. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it was just that thing, like, just got to change the scenario, just got to, you know, move where we are, or change a workplace, or change all the other variables, and it'll be fine. Like, we just kept doing things like that. But the common denominator was just the relationship and just our dynamic wasn't working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I was a bit stubbornly just trying to keep it happening.
Just wanting it to work.
Yeah, yeah. But it's good in a way because it just amplified it to like a crescendo of just,
Yeah.
yeah, well and truly kind of over. And then it was like, oh, okay, that was a big obvious ending.
Yeah.
And then that's how you learn lessons, isn't it?
And in the moment, like, were you recognizing that you were feeling empty, like, in those moments?
I yes, part of me was, and then part's like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah, so there's the denial
yeah,
part.
Yeah.
How did you know that you were feeling empty and depleted?
Physically, I could actually feel it physically by the end, like just feeling like sick to the stomach. That's pretty bad, isn't it?
Was it affecting other spheres of your life?
Yeah, it was tied in with work as well. So, yeah, it was. I was working somewhere really isolated, and yeah, just all of the things stacking on top of each other: the work, the relationship, the isolation. Yeah, all of it going, oh, this doesn't feel good, this doesn't feel right. Oh, it's okay, just try, one more month of it, see how it goes. This will change, that will change. Yeah, until it didn't, and I was like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it took leaving and going physically and breaking up to be like, oh, that's how I was feeling, like the contrast.
When you started coming back to feeling like yourself again?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally get that feeling. Yeah.
And then taking like a year really to build myself back up after that.
What did you do?
Well, I moved somewhere else by myself, started again, new town, made new friends, had new workplaces. Yeah, just did nice things for myself really. And actually I started doing the sound healing kind of 6 months into that. So so the pandemic giving me all that space to do all the things that I was like, oh, I want to do this online course. I want to learn about this. I want to get the crystal bowls. And then I did Skype lessons for how to play the bowls with a teacher from Bali. And so I guess that was really nourishing for me as well.
Yeah.
So started healing myself with those wonderful things. Yeah, starting for me first. Yeah.
Was that the first time that you really, I guess, took time to invest in yourself and really nourish yourself?
Probably, yes, yeah. I'd always dabbled in bits of yoga and bits of meditation and things like that, but there was always a goal at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the yoga was to get flexible, to be able to do this. The meditation was to be able to have a good headspace so I could freedive deeper.
Okay.
It was always goal orientated, but yeah, the sound healing was all about filling my cup up actually. And the interesting thing, the lady that was teaching me about the crystal bowls, she's like, you need a gong. You can't be a sound healer without a gong. I'm like, okay, I need a gong. All right, I'll get the biggest one I can. And then I was busy because it was a pandemic. I can't go to a gong shop and try out all the gongs.
Yeah.
I was on YouTube. Excuse me. I was testing all of the gongs, so you can look up Paiste gongs online, and there's hundreds of different gongs, all different planets and all different sizes. So I was listening to all of the gongs, and I kept coming back to this particular gong for no other reason other than it sounded really good to me. And it was the planet Mercury, which is symbolic of communication, your throat chakra, speaking your truth.
Wow.
So it was so appropriate for me, and so that was the gong I got. And I really feel like the last year and a half of me playing that gong, I mean, I'm sitting right in front of it. So everyone's getting the wonderful gong vibrations, but I'm getting a lot too. And I think it's been really powerful for me to be holding space and talking in front of people and sharing my story and my truth as well. So, yeah.
Is that stepping into a new space for you? Like a new founded confidence, it sounds like.
Absolutely, yes. Because, yeah, I don't think my default is to tell people how I feel, especially in relationships. So
you haven't done that before?
No, it's very much all about them and avoiding conflict and avoiding voicing things that might unrest the peace, you know. So it's definitely was my time to start using my voice.
Oh, I love that for you. And so what are you... Oh, you right?
Yeah.
just drink some water. Cough away. It's okay.
It's my throat chakra.
I mean, for you now finding... I don't want to say finding your voice. It's not like you ever lost it, I suppose. But building this sense of confidence and... Yeah, you know, feeling like you can speak up more. Have you been able to implement any of that outside of obviously sharing your beautiful voice in sound healing?
Yeah, and I'm getting better at that too, because I want to get to the point where I'm singing mantras in sound healing and stuff. So that is on the list too. But yeah, in life for sure. But I guess that's part of getting older and getting more settled in your skin and telling people what you actually want. And definitely job-wise as well. Like you end up being a bit more honest with, hey, I want to do this job, or I'm not going to do this. Or, yeah, I've always had the default of the people pleaser. So that's good to learn those boundaries and to try and stand in my own power as I get older. So yeah, that's nice.
When you find yourself challenged in setting boundaries, is there something that you're able to do to help you in that moment? Because that's a hard shift coming from being a people pleaser to recognizing I'm a people pleaser to now setting and asserting boundaries. Can be really difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess it's a case-by-case scenario, really. Yeah, but knowing that it might be the easier option to just say what they want to hear or, you know, people please, but actually it's just hurting me, so it's better off to just take a moment and be honest with, you know, what you want to say or what you want to do. And people respect that anyway.
Yeah.
So often you're so scared, oh, what are they going to think if I tell them no about this or don't want to do that? They'll be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, or they might not. I mean, some people might not be able to receive that, right? And some people might not be able to respect your boundaries, but that's a them thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, not for you to take on.
Yeah.
And so with your sound healing, what are your hopes and what's your plan?
World domination.
Sound heal the world.
Yeah. Well, I can see future like retreats, combining a lot of things, like a lot of wellness retreats, having different things like the sound healing, yoga, meditation, but also like adding the freediving element in as well, like having the water element, having a bunch of different tools that people can just have some inner reflection and tools that they can kind of take home with them to regulate themselves, I guess, eventually. Yeah. So I'd like to do that. Yeah, I just continuously want to buy new instruments.
More gongs.
Yeah, I'd like another gong actually. Yeah, I'd love to have it as my full-time job, really, to be just doing sound healing, do one-on-one sound healings. I've just done a breathwork course, so incorporating breathwork and sound healing too as another modality. Yeah, just lots of tools to support people, and that feels really satisfying.
And have you received some good feedback from people coming along to your sound healing sessions?
Yes, because I've been kind of aiming towards people that have never experienced sound healing before. In the town where I am is very touristic, and a lot of couples coming out for like a nice chill holiday and trying out something new. So I don't want to make it too woo-woo or too off-putting, so just really nice and easy to relax into. And often, because it's people's first time, they're like, oh, that was really cool. I've never done anything like that before. And I'm going to go home where I live and try and find more sound healing things. I just want to make it really approachable for everyone so that they don't think of it like this Ubudian rainbow child, align your chakras and, you know.
Which it totally can be.
Yeah.
Some people want that and love that.
Yeah, and that's awesome. But yeah, I don't want to put people off. I want everyone to experience it. And if they're a scientific mind, like, I'll give them a little bit of the science so that they're open to it. And people that are in their science mind are like, they're in their logic. So often they're the ones that need a bit more extra relaxation to get out of the logic and into the body. So yeah, I like that. And coming from the freediving, learning all about the nervous system and relaxation and chemically what's happening in your body, it's really nice to be able to merge that science into the sound. Yeah. And I'd love to aim the sound healing towards freedivers, actually. So yeah, that could be a future.
A lot of meshing of worlds for you.
Yeah. And I guess that's what it's all about, isn't it? Gaining experience as you go in life and then creating your niche thing, angle that works for you and that people will be like, oh, yeah, cool, I can do that kind of specific thing with them. Yeah.
It sounds like you get a lot of joy out of being able to give this to people, like facilitate this.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. And I love it that their bodies are doing it. I'm not like, you know, some magician doing things. I'm just supplying the space, the safe space where they can let go enough to start healing themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think that happens like in that, you know, in the 1 hour session that's going on? Because obviously, our bodies do regenerate and and physically heal. Or is there more that people go away with afterwards as well in their minds?
Yeah, well, some people can get emotional after a sound healing session. Sometimes people shift things energetically and then they've got, you know, releases for that, which is amazing. My friend came to one of my first sessions and she said it tapped into her creative side. So she went home and she journaled about all of these characters that she had been creating years ago to write a novel. And she said she kind of forgotten all about that, and then they all sprung out of her subconscious after getting the sound healing. Like, her creativity was activated. So that was super cool to hear that. So it's not just in the session, although sometimes in the session people have the physical sensations, other people see colors or visions or but then they can go home and have other things going on. Sleep really well. Yes, you go home and sleep really well after it.
So it's just unlocking something inside of people through sound.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like it because the sound gives your mind something to kind of follow. Like, they're really beautiful, like notes that come from the sound bowls, the harmonies with the notes, and I play different melodies a little bit with them, so you've got something to follow, but then also all the frequencies and all the vibrations are happening at the same time, so it's like creating a soundscape, and then your subconscious is kind of using that as the canvas to bring up anything that you need to have a little look at that you haven't given yourself 5 minutes to pause in your normal life.
Just creating space.
Creating space, and holding space for people. Yeah, we never give ourselves permission to sit down and relax, and we're always go, go, go. especially with all stressed people coming from cities and corporate jobs and high level of needing to achieve and pushing. So, yeah.
And how is that? Because people can look at relaxation and go, all right, well, why can't I just spend an hour of my time just watching TV and zoning out? You know, like that's relaxing, or do something like that. I mean, but that's just a completely different.
Yeah, that's just putting your attention somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not changing your state at all. Someone told me once that, oh, meditation, why are you doing that? I don't have time to go and sit on a mountaintop and meditate for hours. I've got stuff to do. But the point is, when you're doing your normal day-to-day stuff, you're doing it from a different place. If you've had that calm of meditation previously in the day, like you function so much better in the world. You're not as reactive to things. You're calmer. So it's improving your regular life.
Yeah.
If you've just taken a bit of time for yourself as well.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited for what you're doing, Kate.
Oh, thank you. Me too. I get really excited talking about it.
Yeah, you do. You light up. And I love that. I think it's great that you get to direct your energy in, you know, and that desire to help people, which is such a wonderful thing, into this space that fulfills you and obviously brings you so much joy. Like, what more can you ask for?
Yeah. Yeah.
The pursuit of passion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
So if people want to know more about your sound healing sessions, where can they go and what can they do to follow you?
Well, at the moment, I just have the old social media for my sound healing.
Yeah, which is what?
Which is my name, Kate _Godfrey, for my Instagram. And on Facebook, I call myself Crystal Bowl Sound Healing. But I have half a website going, so that will be coming up very soon, which is good. But I'm based in Port Douglas in Australia, and I just do local classes there. And I'm going to do one-on-ones and things too as well soon. So.
Awesome. You're going to be healing the world one crystal bowl at a time.
Yes.
I love it. Well, thanks so much for coming on and for joining me.
Oh, thanks, Amanda. It's been lovely.
Yeah, I love chatting to you. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in and for listening today. You can follow me at self_podcast and at Amanda Letran. That's Amanda Letran. Oh gosh, I forgot how to spell my last name for a second there. New episodes out every Thursday. So I guess I will see you next week. Thanks a lot again, Kate.
Welcome.
See you later. Bye.